Welcome to Rauta's Festival Previews, part 2 in this case, because we are talking about Hellsinki Metal Festival 2025, which takes place in early August in Finland, the capital city, Helsinki. Now, a few months ago, I made already a certain preview of the first revealed lineup, but obviously that has been updated, just like with many other festival lineups tend to do, meaning there are always more bands added and all information added after the initial release of the bands. Without further ado, let's take a look at this. I have already opened the day-by-day and stage-by-stage appearance and lineup information for that. Everything here can be found if you go to the main site. You can choose English or Finnish according to your needs, and then you can just go for the news or whatever, and you will find this information. The whole lineup is here with the prizes and everything, blah blah blah. You get the idea. We're not gonna talk so much about prizes and all that stuff because it's all here, and in case you're still wondering whether or not to go, now you should know more about that. But I'll go quickly through these 2 days of the festival lineup and talk some basic information what you might need or what might be useful to you in case you're wondering whether or not to go. First things first, Hellsinki Metal Festival is not exactly a mainstream festival, nor it is exactly an extreme metal festival. It's somewhere between. The classic Tuska lineup, the biggest metal festival in Finland, used to be a little bit like this. Nowadays they are more kind of fading away from metal, especially the more extreme kind, and as such bringing more rock and other bands into the fray, which brings us to Hellsinki Metal Festival, and that is basically filling up that void. A welcoming addition now with the third year and all to the Finnish metal scene, because technically speaking it's between the extreme metal festivals and these really mainstream festivals, and as such finding its audience just nicely. I was there last year, made a recap video of the whole thing, so I pretty much know how it's gonna be this year as well, meaning there are 3 different stages: main stage Helsinki 1-0 or just Helsinki 1, and then stages 2 and 3. If it was like last year, there will be 2 outdoor stages, Helsinki 1 being the biggest, which is like really big mainstream metal festival or festival thing stage anyway, and that is then again on the side of that there will be this a little bit smaller outdoor stage Helsinki 2, and then there will be this inside the ice hockey hall kind of a club style of stage Helsinki 3. So different atmospheres of each festival stages. If you've been to bigger festivals like Tuska or Wacken for that matter, you pretty much know what to expect from the bigger stages as well as the smaller ones. Those who haven't been to bigger festivals, well, this might be a little bit surprising or something different than your typical festivals, but typical festival goers probably find it very, very easy to navigate throughout the things. First you have this ice hockey hall, which has food booths and drinks and merchandise sales, including but not limited to t-shirts and art and all that stuff. It was really cool last year. You had all kind of things from fan merchandise to other stuff included. And on the outside you have of course these beer gardens, so to say, and you have these stages and more places to buy boot beer and whatnot. And while it's very, very urban in the sense, it's in the very middle of the city, that is Helsinki, the capital area in Finland. Going there is very, very easy. You just don't need to walk that much or take a tram or bus or whatever. So it's very, very easy. And if you are not into favoring public transportation and you don't really feel like walking, because I think it took like 20 minutes from the very city central to the reach to the whole festival area, obviously you can take a taxi or Uber, whatever. It doesn't cost that much really. So really easy to find and really easy to be there and then go back also wherever your hotel or similar place to sleep is. But now let's talk about the lineups. So Friday 8th of August is headlined by King Diamond, the legendary act obviously, and that is gonna be the thing of the whole day. Before that, on this main stage, you will see Dismember, which is doing nowadays these kind of a comeback shows, if you will. A legendary 1990s death metal act from Finland, which I haven't seen since, I think, the very early 2000s. So, I mean, when they went on hiatus, that was gone. goner for a long time, so now it's nice to see them being back. And then there is this doom metal legend Candlemass, a band with something like 40 years already. So pretty wild main stage lineup. Then you have these smaller cult acts like Warman, Rabbit Cult doing their stuff, but I guess the main attractions are worth mentioning a little bit more than that. On the second stage is Fear Factory, this classic industrial act, which is, never pretty much strayed away from their path. Definitely the kind of a fan favorite one for those who are into the genre. But yeah, a lot of people gonna say it's not my kind of thing, it's too weird and all that stuff. But I think that's the beauty of the whole band, despite the band dramas and all. Then it's been, warmed up by very, very popular, despite the young age, black metal band from Germany, Kanon and Fiebe, focusing on World War One. As a silly anecdote, I heard this funny rumor that this band was really like pondering if Finnish people can actually separate World War One and World War Two, because obviously a lot of war bands get this sweating thing like, are they political, are they making a stand? And my friend and me were laughing. Does it ever make a difference whether you're singing about World War One or World War Two as a German band? The history is still there. This was then again warmed up by Forbidden, a classic act from UK, so it's going to be interesting. Never seen them myself. And then there are a couple of smaller bands once again warming up the bigger names. Inside, however, you will see some of the more interesting acts from the more extreme metal side of things. I mean, obviously death metal is one thing and black metal is one thing, but more, I would say, intense in a way is Moonser doing their epic pagan black metal thing as headlining, and of course Old Man's Child finally doing a comeback. This is something that people have been waiting and hoping for a long time, obviously, because Old Man's Child was pretty much on hiatus when the main man was spending a lot of his time and work with Dimmu Borgir. Now that the things have changed with that, Old Man's Child is definitely back and doing a lot of shows, and one of them is happening here in Finland, which is obviously a great thing. I remember finding the band in the mid-90s, so for me, seeing them the first time is going to be interesting. That is then again warmed up by Decapitated, a Polish death metal act, which is supposed to bring you some fierce stuff. Very excited to see that as well as Finnish up-and-coming black metal act Night Shall Drape Us, which might be as name a new one, but made with veteran key players from the black metal scene, so it's going to be interesting. Then there are some smaller ones, Ghost doing their rather weird stuff, Gvalen bringing some kind of a punky black metal from the politically left side of things, not right, and Decessus, which is an unknown name to me. So quite varied take if you given there are these smaller weird names as well as black metal, industrial metal, heavy metal, death metal, a little bit of everything for people. Saturday, excuse me, I need to clear my throat. This happens to be my birthday, so what a way to celebrate there with friends and bands alike. Now, headlined by Venom, the legendary outfit from UK already since the 70s. Doesn't matter whether you are gonna argue that Venom wasn't creating black metal, just carrying the name or not. It matters is that they are the forefathers or pioneers of the given genre, where inverted crosses and pentagrams and all that stuff are being fought. It might be a pure show band in your opinion, but still they have the legacy going on, and as such they truly have deserved their place. That is then again warmed up by a classic hardcore metal band, Hatebreed, which has always been putting together hardcore punk as well as metallic ideas, so I'm expecting a lot of anger on stage with their ones. This is then again warmed up by bands like Landmarks and Il Nido, but more importantly, especially me, and I would like to see this name a little bit bigger here, Napalm, that the grandfathers of grind as well as death grind over the years. A very important band that has been in Finland quite a few times, but way overdue when it comes to bringing them back. Personally, one of my anticipated names, and we'll talk about interviews later. On the second stage, that will be headlined by Marduk, one of the biggest or maybe the most important black metal names from Sweden. Always fierce on stage, always doing good albums after one another. So once again, they're back in Finland. and they're gonna do, I guess, very, very good show. That is warmed up by, then again, Michael Schenker, which is obviously a little bit different than the extreme black metal, and also Enslaved, the legendary name from Norway, one of my favorite bands of all times, due to differences and changes over the years. Seen them many times, probably more than other bands in the world, always good. And then this is warmed up by Angel Maker, I Do Not Know It, and Ludacris, which debut album I recently reviewed. Alternative metal, female fronted, quite unique in a way. And then this smaller stage will be headlined by Bloodfire Death, a tribute thing to Bathory. Now, I'm guessing this isn't exactly the same what was there last year in Bergen, Norway at Beyond the Gates, which was just fantastic. A huge lineup with a huge amount of big names from black metal bands back then. But would make no sense to me to list all of the artists back then, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the same lineup now, because what it had in Bergen was partially because of the bands playing there anyway. Now the lineup here, obviously, for the whole festival is a little bit different. So I'm guessing the lineup for this tribute band is different. But musically, it's great, definitely worth watching. That is then again supported by Cult of Luna and Me and That Man. Letter is known for Behemoth's Nurgle side project in a way, but don't expect black metal project or whatever. Interestingly, a Japanese black metal legend Sai is here, which is cool. And Alpha Hanne, one of my favorite bands from Sweden, combining their rather punky stuff with their black metal background. Did a great show at Steelfest, what it was like 2 years ago, and as such I'm expecting nothing but goodness once again. And finally, one of the funny bands, which I've never got to see, but always, separated from the mass of logos, is Party Cannon with their party colorful logo. I'm expecting good death metal in a weird way. And then Brutal Sphincter, which I honestly don't know. So quite varied lineup all in all. I mean, after all, you have heavy metal, classic black metal, you have grind, you have epic pagan metal, you have some industrial acts, alternative metal, hardcore-ish metal. Overall, pretty big-ass, badass catering when it comes to the lineup over just 2 days, as opposed to like festivals with 3 or 4 days. Personally, I'm looking forward to this festival big time, and not just 1 or 2 reasons. Obviously, first reason is, well, it's going to be interesting lineup overall for 2 days. Last year we had a great time with friends and my cameraman enjoying the bands and all that stuff. Secondly, like I said, it's going to be my birthday. Yeah, I'm going to turn 50. I'm old fuck. So it's going to be a very, very special day for me personal level, even if there were no bands at all. Thirdly, obviously, I'm looking forward to do some interesting interviews. I don't know who yet. I cannot even reveal any of my plans because there are other festivals which have some overlapping with the given bands or acts here, and as such, plans are still like very unknown, very unclear to me as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Last year I, however, didn't get a single interview. All the schedules went fucked, even the ones that I were promised, fucked. So I don't know how it's gonna be this year. Let's hope it's gonna be better, because there are lots of bands I would like to talk to. But more about that later on. I will be obviously revealing once those interviews are set up, assuming some are. I will either announce them on some stream I'm gonna do, monthly stream on Rauta, or just a news update on Patreon site. So stay tuned. Of course, I'm expecting to see a lot of you right there in Helsinki early August, assuming this is your kind of festival to begin with. Should you have questions or all that comments, let me know, put them in the comments box below, and if you have something I can answer, I will surely do it. So off you go, people, enjoy, and maybe hopefully see you in Helsinki in 3 months time, or maybe 2 months time, since this video is coming out in probably June rather than now in May when I'm doing it. Either way, see you there, and bye bye.